Welcome to Lo-Fi Code, where we learn to code in bite-sized pieces. Today, we are looking at the HTML body tag and what the heck you can do with it and why it's useful, why it needs to even be there. So here we have a side-by-side. We have our body example.html file open, and so far all this document has is a head, which we talked about in the last video. This is metadata about your document. The title, Lo-Fi Code, translates to the title here in the browser tab. And we even got like an icon going on, right? favicon.ico. This is this little tiny file here, and that also shows up in the browser tab. So that's the head. We're not talking about that today. Today we're talking about the body. So let's go ahead and add a body tag. So now this is more of a valid HTML document, right? We have our doc type at the top, our HTML tag and closing, and body and closing, head tag, closing head tag. And in our body, we can talk about this for just a second. So the body tag is used to define the main content of the page. It represents the content of the document displayed to the user. The content inside the body tag, so in here, right here, is used is what users see and interact with when you visit a web page. So that's like the stuff that you actually see on the web page. That's what goes in the body. It can include all kinds of stuff, as you've seen if you've used a website before: text, images, links, forms, other HTML elements that make up the look and functionality of the page. So why don't we just play with this for a minute? Right now our body is empty. This right here with the exclamation point, that's a comment, so this doesn't get rendered. If I save it and refresh the page over here, you can see nothing there. So why don't we add a header to our page? Let's give it a h1 tag, which means big header, biggest header you can make, main header, and we call it my cool website. We can save, and sure enough, there it is. It's on the web page. We get some really sort of not so great looking serif font, the built-in font. We'll talk about styling later. So that's text. We could also add stuff like lists, right? So why don't we do an ordered list, which means it has new numbers on it. We can throw a couple LIs on here. Why don't we make a couple of these, and we can say, why don't we call it, let's add another header here. Let's give us an H3 and call it hobbies. So here's my hobbies. I like hiking. I like coding. And I like playing Lethal Company. If we save that and come over here, we can see here we have a hobbies header and some content. So these are kind of text and lists and stuff like that. Why don't we throw in a div? A div is, I forget what it stands for in this moment, but it's a big box basically. And we can give it a, why don't we give it some style just so we can see it on the page? Otherwise we won't be able to see anything. Let's give it a background color. And we can pick from one of these, or we can, here, why don't we do this coral color? That looks nice. Coral. And let's put something in it. Maybe let's put our list in it so that we can actually see it. And maybe we delete that there. So now if we refresh the page, we see our div, this big coral colored box, right? And we put our ordered list inside there. And maybe we don't like the black on orange there. So what we could do is add some more style here. Why don't we give it a color white? I hope that will work. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Maybe the contrast isn't so good. Either way. So the body, in short, here's what we're talking about today. The body is the content of the web page. It's all of the stuff in there that the user can actually see when they're browsing your web page. I hope you learned a little bit, and welcome to HTML coding, and thanks for watching, and happy hacking.